All off season, we haven't done a lineup projection. Now it's time. Let's go.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. Thank you for being part of the show and making Locked On Cubs your first listen today. And the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day, like the video, and comment anything below. Let us know in the comments section. Cubs Rangers, March 28th. Nathan Eovaldi, what would your lineup be? Today's Tuesday episode is presented by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel. New customers join today. You'll get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Visit FanDuel.com/locked-on to get started. Well, we are going to get started here, despite me being just a tad under the weather, Sam. And you were outstanding this past weekend. Not only were you up at the time of the Bellinger news.
You look a little under the weather, man.
Not only were you up to break the Bellinger news, and we were the first podcast to post. Okay, and that's just the truth. But you did an excellent episode for Monday. That's doing really well, breaking down the deal even more. So it's time to talk some baseball today. But Sam, it is good to see you, and hopefully you're well rested.
Well, nobody was more excited to talk about the Bellinger situation being over than me. Shout out to my dad. Happy birthday to him.
Happy birthday.
We're getting ready to go grab dinner after we do this program. And, I'm noticing myself, I think the more I dress up, the worse I look. But yeah, let's do a lineup projection. I'm interested to see what you came up with. I came up with some stuff in my head, and we'll go from there. So
Cody Bellinger,
70 degrees out.
Crazy. And I have the heat on, so that's not a good sign. Exactly.
No, it might be a long week, man.
Cody Bellinger's return gives the Cubs options for both their roster and their lineup. On Friday's episode, we're going to do a roster projection with graphics included. We'll do that for Friday. But Belly can play at center and first at a high level defensively, so that does open up the options for manager Craig Counsell. You talked about it for Monday's show. PCA could open the season in Des Moines. How often does Bush play at first? Wisdom at first, and we're going to get to maybe if he even is on the team in the next segment. You got Tauchman and Canario for all three outfield spots.
Sure.
You got Madrigal, Mastro. You got so many combinations.
A lot of combinations.
And also Morel, who if he could play third base almost every day, then your lineup becomes a lot different than in the past. It becomes, dare I say, set, everything but the DH spot. So we'll see what happens. Maybe regulars are in that rotation, maybe the bench guys or both. So here's the projection against righties.
So your opening day lineup right here.
Happ in left, Suzuki in right, Bellinger in center, Morel at third, Horner at second, Swanson at short, Bush is the first baseman, Gomes catching, and Tauchman is the DH.
I really like that. Now, here's what I'm going to pick. Can you leave that up, please? So a couple things. If Morel makes it,
go Cubs,
and he wins that third base job,
right.
I love the idea of Tauchman DHing. I also think Canario would be an interesting guy there.
Yes.
As well. I do not think that Morel will be the opening day third baseman.
Wow.
I just don't. I think Craig Counsell takes this defensive thing too seriously. And I just don't. But real quick, and then you could, because I know we probably don't want the graphic up, although right. I wouldn't mind with my situation physically. I would like to say this. Christopher Morel is not hitting cleanup for me. With all due respect to him.
I was definitely debating that.
I would probably, what would I do? I love the first three. Happ, Seiya, Bellinger. I may move Nico up a slot.
I thought about that.
Dan, and then maybe Bush in between and then go Swanson. I think Morel's at his best in like the 7 hole where he could sneak up on people. But overall, I like that lineup a lot. We could be done with it.
Morel cleanup. He's cleanup-esque, but I do think it is a little bit of a risk, that many plate appearances, right?
And it's just so many, like, he's just a guy where with the bases loaded, there's just a lot of strikeout potential, a lot of holes there. But yeah, for me, my guess would be opening day, it's going to look like the exact three that you had. So Happen left, Seiya 2, Bellinger 3. You know what? I probably guess that Horner will go 2, and then Suzuki may go 4.
Yeah.
And something like that. And then I think it'll be Madrigal or Mastro a third, Morel DHing, Tauchman is your fourth outfielder. That's probably what I lean towards. But I like that lineup. I think it's a good club. And you know, I think they're going to win some games with that.
FanDuel still hasn't updated their odds.
Yeah, and you know, some other books have, and and so you know, we're right there. And I'm excited. I'm excited with the versatility. I'm excited. You know, is there one more trade? You know, I hinted at that on the show today. You know, because there's just, you know, there's enough outfielders here to fill out.
Who are they going to get? Jose Ramirez?
No. I mean, like, you know, like a minor deal to get a guy, you know, potentially that could pitch because, you know,
right. A value for value deal.
Wisniewski, you know, he got pounded today in spring training, and I have some thoughts on that.
Wow, we'll get to that in a little bit. Here's the lineup against lefties.
Yeah, this is interesting.
So I had Morel going to DH against lefties to let Madrigal get playing time in there.
Yeah,
I had Horner at second, Swanson at short. I debated that one. Suzuki in right, Bellinger in center, Morel DH, Happ left. Amaya catching. I think his playing time increases this year. Highlighting Wisdom at first, because I don't think we're going to be able to highlight him much longer. And then Madrigal at third.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right.
Okay.
That looks about right. I mean, you know, you could be picky. Maybe Seiya bumps up or something like that.
Switch Happ and Morel or something.
You know, I'd like to, if Canario's on the team, if he makes the roster, I'd like to see him slot in there a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he is as of right now.
And I know what you were doing, but just for listeners, the Amaya Gomes thing will have nothing to do with handedness. It's just going to be Amaya will find some starts against lefties. Gomes actually killed lefties last season.
Lefties, yeah.
You know, so it'll be a random thing with those guys. My guess is Amaya will catch Hendricks for sure.
Right.
And then probably one other guy, maybe Wicks or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. So 2 or 3 times a week, something like that.
Yeah, and I think
7 games.
You know, Amaya is somebody that, oh boy, you're drinking out of a coffee mug at 4:50. This must be, you know, Tylenol, Advil.
Well, it's his water.
Yeah, no, I know
that's cold.
That's not a good sign for you at all. Advil. Maybe we get a sponsor.
Go Cubs.
I'm really excited about Amaya. Nobody talks about him. He's
under the radar.
This is a mid-20s, you know, catcher prospect that really I thought showed some promise last season. I think the swing looks good. I'm excited about him. You know, you could hear the tone in my voice now that this Bellinger thing's behind us.
It's changed.
I have a bolt of energy from this, and
you might say there's momentum.
Yeah, there could be some momentum happening here. I'm a little nervous about the whole fifth starter thing.
Really? Why?
I just don't love that group. You know, I like Wicks. I hope
so. Right now, it's a group of 4, pretty much.
Wicks, I'd like to
Wisniewski and Smiley,
and I'd like to eliminate Wisniewski.
All right, why is that? What did he do today?
Well, first of all, he went 1 2/3 innings today, gave him 4 earned, but it's just he can't get lefties out. You can't be a starter if you can't get out one side of the play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like what? It's ridiculous. I'm tired of this.
Yeah.
You know, I want him to be better. I really do, but I'm really not seeing it. And my patience is waning with him.
That's a good way to put it. Perhaps he's not a starter. That's okay.
And that's not okay.
Well, in the grand scheme, it's not.
Because when we traded, who did we trade? Was it Scott Efros for him?
Yes.
I mean, we thought we hit a home
reliever
run.
For starter, right.
Yeah, and Efros, don't get me wrong, he hasn't pitched since,
2022.
Well, yeah, LBJ and, one of his, bills that got passed. Lyndon Baines Johnson, but it's just, I'm just, my patience is waning.
Yeah, absolutely. And Wisdom right now is in there at first against lefties. I do think Bush will be brought along on the slower side, but maybe not. He just mashes. But I do think that's the plan right now. And his partner over there, if it is a platoon situation, we thought was Wisdom. We thought it was that way for months. But Monday, the Cubs added another player via a minor league deal, that invite to spring training. Let's talk about it coming up next. Today's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your car alive. eBay Motors is everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one car, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. With eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your car alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. We're back here on Locked On Cubs, and the Northsiders signed veteran Garrett Cooper to a minor league deal with an invite to spring training on Sunday. Cooper has spent 7 years in the majors and is 33 years old. Most of his career with the Marlins, including an all-star selection in 2022. And he got traded at the deadline last year, split time with the Marlins and the Padres, hitting 17 home runs. Sam, here's the kicker. Last season's slash line against lefties, 324, 375, 529. If he's better than Wisdom, he should make the team.
I believe there is a competition now in place in the spring between Garrett Cooper and Patrick Wisdom. This deal says nothing about the young, touted prospect Michael Bush. They want to ease him in. He's going to face righties. He's probably not going to face a ton of lefties. You and I privately don't love that. We miss the old days when you just slotted in against every-handedness. But that's just not how the game is anymore, and it's a little bit aggravating, but that's a different conversation for a different day. I'm rooting for Wisdom because I like Wisdom.
Right.
He's a good guy. He's been a part of it here. He's got pop. But, you know, Garrett Cooper could have picked a lot of places to sign a minor league deal. He wouldn't have picked a place that he wasn't going to play. Mm-hmm. I'm interested to see what happens there. I do not think there's room for both on the roster. So it'll be a very interesting competition between those two. Maybe Wisdom has some trade value if you do decide to go in Cooper's direction. It's going to be interesting.
Bush, Wisdom, Mervis, Dom Smith, and now Garrett Cooper are the first base parade over there. Dom Smith is returning from a hand injury. It will likely open up the season in Des Moines either way. So you have a foursome here if you exclude Dom Smith. And I know Mervis, he's got to lead the majors in plate appearances this spring.
Yeah,
did he play 3 days in a row?
He played 3 days in a row. And Michael Bush, we were a little nervous that there was something going on, and they did report he had a bit of a shoulder, but he was in the lineup today. He went 1 for 2 with a walk.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good news. Good to see him back there.
And Seiya Suzuki made his spring debut today as well. He went 1 for 2.
Good. All right, well, 2 plate appearances make sense. We'll keep tabs on these competitions because we have third base, first base, platoon, the
bullpen
DH rotation, and the bullpen, and fifth starter.
I got to tell you, it was early on, but I like what I saw from that lefty Love Lady.
Okay. Yeah. He's pitched a couple times now.
Yeah, 2 shutout innings, but he kind of looked pretty good. So
yeah, he looked like he should get the part, perhaps.
And have we seen Leiter Jr. yet? I don't believe so.
I don't think so. No, but they've seen him in Sloan. They located him.
Or Almonte.
He just hasn't been in a game. No.
Right. So
no, and that's interesting for
those are guys to keep
projection.
an eye on. Those are guys, and I got to tell you this. Right. And I know I'm being a little hard on him, and it's just 1 start, and it's spring, so whatever. I'm not positive Wisniewski makes the bullpen if he doesn't win that job. It's a very competitive market there. Yeah,
no, I think they want him to try being a starter again.
They have a lot of guys
run out.
I mean, they have a lot of potential relievers. I don't know if any of them are really good.
Close to 20.
But they have they run a lot of guys out there.
Right.
Palencia pitched the other day. I forgot about him.
And what, of course, could get interesting with a guy like Garrett Cooper or one of the relievers is they're non-roster players. So they don't have a spot in the 40-man. So if they make the opening day roster, that means someone's cut.
And don't they still have a 40-man move to make with Bellinger?
Yes, they do.
Right.
So I've thought about that a little bit.
Your conspiracy. Go ahead.
News for Burvis.
And you could go conspiracy theory wise too. Hey, they went and got Cooper, but non-roster invitee, and then because they may have to make a move with Wisdom, but then to your point, they would still have to make an additional move if they put Cooper on.
Right.
Mervis seems like the odd man out here. Mm-hmm. But we're gonna have to, time will tell. Time will tell. All it takes is one shoulder thing, to start hitting Bush again, and then you hold everything.
And Brendan Davis is hitting well, Sam. If he
might
looking good, that's a whole episode, I think, or a whole segment later.
A whole segment. Especially after on our live show, I took a dig at him, and ever since then he's looked pretty sharp.
Yeah, he took that and ran with it.
Well, listen, if him or any of these guys could build some trade value, go get me a starter.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. That would solve a lot.
Would Wicks? None of this is going to happen, so forget it. And I know we get plenty of people when we talk starters comment, well, what about Trevor Bauer? And my answer is the same. When I hear Trevor Bauer connected to a major league team, we'll comment on it.
We'll let you know, yeah.
Yeah, it's like me mentioning, hey, why don't they sign Pedro Martinez? I mean, right. It's just not in the cards right now.
No.
What I will say, though, is, Wisniewski, Brennan Davis type of package, you should be able to get a decent guy. I don't know.
Yeah, you could get value back.
I don't know.
Somebody that would still compete for the fifth job, but it would make it a lot more
has Lorenzen been signed yet?
No.
Yeah, well, he's not going to be signed by us.
No.
I did a lot of cap work.
We got to figure that out too.
It's like $3 to $5 million, give or take.
That's what I thought by FanDuel.
About $3 to $5 million. So
I thought maybe it was even like 2.5.
So it'll be interesting at the trade deadline is if they make a move, they probably want to give up a little money as well.
Yeah,
in the move.
Like a smiley.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, let's continue our opening day countdown to close out. 30 days from today.
30? Oh, I got two number 30s right off the top of my head.
Let's do that next. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Get buckets or base hits with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because right now new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and more. And right now the Cardinals are still the NL Central favorite, followed by the Cubs, Reds, Brewers, and Pirates, as the Pirates are pretty much the only team you could probably rule out. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to shoot your shot. FanDuel, official partner of the Locked On Podcast Network. As we count down the days until opening day, we are taking a look at players in Cubs history who wore that jersey number. There's only 30 days until the opener in Arlington. Sam, can you think of anybody right away?
Yes. I Ted Lilly popped right into my head.
Absolutely, left-hander.
And I believe two other starting pitchers. One of them being, I believe, a gentleman that threw a no-hitter for this franchise, Kenny Holtzman.
That's right. Played a lot of his years in the 70s.
And then I believe former Sox broadcast or current Sox broadcaster and former Orioles Cy Young Award winner Steve Stone wore the number 30.
Yes, Steve Benedict Arnold Stone.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. He played for the Cubs for a few years.
And Edwin Rio. One of my worst calls of last season. I thought he'd be a contributor, and
we had him as a lead episode.
And now he's contributing, I don't know where. So I was going to
All right, so there's one more name before we get out of here.
Oh, I'm forgetting one.
Let me the clue is Beard.
Go Cubs. Okay. Recent?
No.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Like 1920? I mean, what are we talking about here?
2000s. It's pretty recent.
Okay. Beard.
Mid
Pitcher?
2000. Yeah.
Mid 2000s?
Mm-hmm.
Did Matt Clement wear 30?
That's correct.
Why did that come to my head? Yeah,
Nice
like
job.
the chin situation with him.
Yeah, I was when I was a kid, I was wondering what was happening there.
Yeah,
But
Clement
it was fun.
he was on the 03 club too.
Yeah, he was on the SI cover with all those dudes too.
Matt Clement wore 30. I didn't realize that.
Absolutely. All right. Well, this week we have a lot going on. Both
It was
position
funny.
battles.
The one downside negative of my show, solo show, was I really got wrapped up in the NBA FanDuel ad, and
That was great.
I took up about 8 minutes.
Well, that's okay.
No, it's all good. Everything's great. I don't want Wisniewski to pitch anymore, man.
All right. So opening day lineup projection. We're going to do an opening day roster for Friday. In the in between, we're going to have a whole lot more for you. Thank you so
30
much.
days.
30. That's it.
I mean, so does that mean it's 4 or 5 weeks from this Thursday?
4.
4 weeks from this Thursday.
That's it.
We have a regular season baseball game against the defending champions on ESPN. Is Carl Ravitch doing that game?
I'm almost positive. I think the lineups came out a couple weeks ago.
Come on, get somebody like John Miller back.
You give us 20 or 30.
Get a real announcer.
We'll give you all things Cubs with the last.
He's a booth guy.
Be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube, smash the like button for the algorithm, and leave a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, and everywhere you get your podcasts. He's Sam Olver. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.